So I've been seeing quite a negative response to this season of Shattering on YouTube and other places so far, and I feel like that is because people are under the impression that That Game Company is starting to take their foot off the pedal in a sense, and because this season introduced several new mechanics that make Eden more difficult. However, I would like to argue against that. Also, I would like to note that I do get into major spoilers for the Eye of Eden in this entire video, so click away if you haven't done that yet. While I do agree that the new seasonal area is pretty underwhelming, you have to consider everything else new that they added with this update. And there are two things I want to talk about in particular. One of those two things is the Eye of Eden's increased difficulty. I know a lot of veterans are really angry about this because it makes it more difficult to gather ascended candles. However, I would like to argue that making Eye of Eden is more difficult, and it's a good thing because it causes players to rely more on having friends more. I feel like Scattered on the Light does not want to force you to make friends just for the utility. However, I feel like Eden is the one exception to this rule, and by reinforcing this rule, I feel like Eden squads will be larger, and in turn we get more activity with other players related to this. On top of that, I think that the new knockdown mechanic is more than fair. While you do move incredibly slow and will for sure lose a lot of winged light unless another player helps you, it is much better to have that over getting knocked over and over and over again by rocks and getting knocked down by them and losing all of your light. I feel like it is a very fair trade when implemented correctly. The other thing I want to talk about is the shard quests. I feel like this is the highlight of this season. You see, outside of Eden, there is essentially no challenge outside of the trials, and those are mostly single player challenges. However, the shard quests are safer and more efficient with the more players you do them with. The first shard quest I did was with a group of large players, and it was a lot of fun to try dodge the crabs, revive each other, and burn the plants. I also like how you get a small reward of ascended candles, which partially helps with the issue of Eden being too difficult. I hope we get to see more difficult shard quests, and we will see them replacing normal quests in the future. Now, I do want to talk about some of the major issues the community had with this update so far. There are not any emotes in this season, and the ultimate cosmetic is recycled, and the seasonal area has been added is not interesting, and they will be removing after the event. On top of this, there are some new issues with Eden, such as when you try to light another player, it will sometimes not work. The difficulty has spiked due to the new Eden mechanics, and a lot of players are afraid that it will drive away a lot of the less experienced player base. Anyways, here's the big thing I want you guys to take away from this. If the community is unable to adapt to the Eden changes, I am more than sure that That Game Company will make it easier game or change it back. I feel like the main reason Eden is so difficult right now is because of all the bugs with the candle lighting and other stuff that That Game Company did not intend. And if you have to remember, the thing that Scattered on the Light together all those years is the fact that it rallies around the idea that it's a social experiment first and a game second. If That Game Company finds that this update does not improve the identity of Scattered on the Light being a social experiment, then they probably will change it back. This probably isn't something to worry about in my opinion. Anyways, thank you for hearing my thoughts. Please leave your own thoughts in the comments. I love to read them. Also, any constructive criticism about my argument or my video editing would also be appreciated, as I do not know everything yet. I also know that I don't normally make Scattered on the Light content on this channel, but I do plan to make more in the future. So consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you want to support me. See ya!